And I said, what are these media files are? So here we have seen how to work with the media files and what are the basic configuration you have to do it. So these are the things what we have seen in the last class for uploading the image. Then after that, so this is image upload. So we uploaded image. So after that, but I said no, you required. So we'll try to upload one more image here. So we'll try to upload one more image. So here run the server. So after this, what I'm doing is I'm trying to upload another image. So there is upload view. So you have an upload view here. So I try to upload image here. So once I say create, now this image is what here uploaded. But I said no, in the database, it doesn't store the image. In the database, it will not store the image. But in the database, it will store only path. Okay, it will store only the path, but it doesn't store the image. So if you see this select star from application one underscore person, you can see only the path is stored here. Okay, what is stored here only? Path, images. But actually image will be stored in this location. So it is a media URL. So already defined in settings.py. So next what I want to do is I want to list all these images. Okay, list person details. I want to list all the person details. So for listing all the person details, you have to execute the query. And what is the query is? So what is the name of the model is from models dot from application one dot models import one model that is a person here. And here I'm saying query set equal to person dot objects dot. Okay, now you're trying to use what here? All. Now you have to render this query set within the template. You have to render this query set within the template. So person list dot HTML. And you are trying to include this as a part of context. Now this is nothing but what here? Query set. Then return. What you have to do is you have to return response. So you have to create a person list dot HTML. So create person list dot HTML. In person list dot HTML, so you are trying to display all the person details. Okay, this is nothing but so person name. So this is nothing but person. Okay, person name is there. And one more is okay, person name and person photo. So here I'm using a for loop. So yeah, this is a for. Yeah, just listen here. For row in what is that? Query set. For row in what here? Query set means you are reading each time one row, and then you are creating a table row. Okay, right? So you are inserting row dot. So what is a row dot here? So the name of the column is name, row dot name, and next one is table row, table data. So this is you have to insert what here? Image. What do you have to do? You have to insert the image source. So what is the image source is a row dot. What is that? Photo. So this is image URL. What is image URL is a row dot photo. This is image URL. This is what here URL because you have to define the source. So what is the source for this image is, okay, you are saying, you are just writing your source dot. You're trying to list it. How you're trying to list it? By defining, so row dot, what is the name of the column is photo. But this is now row dot photo dot, you have to take which one? URL. You have to take what here? URL. So URL of which one? Image. You have to take URL of the image. You have to take the URL of the image. That is image source. So here I represent this image source as a string, right? Then next you have to define the image width. Otherwise, it will take what your original width. So width is 200 and define the height. So like this. Now this is displaying what your image. So for is end with what here? End for. So here you are taking row dot photo dot, there is one attribute called which one? URL. So you are trying to take the image URL. You are trying to take the image URL because in browser, how it is accessed with the URL. In the browser, how the image is accessed with the URL. So this is a physical path, but you have to access in the browser with what? URL. Okay, that's the reason you are writing row dot photo dot. What is the name of this is URL. Row dot photo dot URL, right? Row dot photo. I will just run this and let us see this. Now in settings.py, now define. Okay, now just go to urls.py and define the URL for this view. From application one dot, from application one dot views. So there is one view. What is the name of the view? List person. So I'm trying to define the path list underscore person. So you're trying to listing all the persons here, list person. So okay, now you try to display this. Now slash list person. Now it is displayed the name, but image is not displayed. So now person list.html. Now row is nothing but model instance. And this is a column name. What is the name of the column is photo is the name of the column. And here you have one more attribute. What is the name of that attribute is? So image dot URL. So image dot URL. So row dot photo dot image dot URL means you are taking which URL here? Image URL. And this is a model instance. This is column name. And you are taking image URL. Okay. So here one more thing you have to do it. So what is that thing is you have to add this URL as a part of urls.py. You have to concatenate this URL also as a part of urls.py. Which URL? Which URL you have to concatenate? Media URL. Which URL you have to concatenate? Media URL you have to concatenate as a part of which one? URL patterns. Okay, because browser, I mean always a browser it will search for the URL in what your URL patterns. Browser always it will search for the URL in what? URL patterns. Okay, right? So you need to define the URL pattern for which one? Image. But already we defined in settings dot, already we defined that URL in settings dot py. Now that you have to concatenate here URL patterns by using, so here you have to define the URL pattern. So for the image. So see here, it is taken image. It is saying media slash image. Okay. Now this is one image and this is what here image, but it's saying it is not found, right? But it is there or not there? There. So it is searching. Now this searching is done in what? The searching is, it is searching for this particular URL. In the browser, it is accessing with this particular URL. But to access with the URL, for this image, you have to define the URL. For this image, you have to define what URL pattern. You have to define what URL pattern. So without defining this URL pattern, you cannot access this image in what? Browser. You cannot access the image in the browser. Compulsory, you have to define the URL pattern here. Now this is a media URL pattern. So if you see this media URL pattern, okay. See any language, this is required uh, because browser it will try to access in the browser. Now already we defined this, but in URL patterns, you have to add a URL. In URL patterns, you have to add URL pattern in urls.py. So that is because Django doesn't serve media files in development by default. You must define or you must add a pattern to urls.py when debug is true. Okay. But this is not suitable for production mode. This is usable only in which a server, development server. So that you have to define in what urls.py. You have to write that in urls.py. In urls.py, you add a URL pattern. So for that, you are using a static. You are using what your static, and you are trying to add settings dot media URL and document root equal to settings dot media root. So which is already defined in what settings dot py. So what you have to do, you have to import these two things. So you have to import these two things here from django.con django dot from application from project. Where is this here? Project 33 dot from project 33 import settings. django.config.url static. So here I'm writing. So plus is for what? Concatenation. I'm using one method or function called which one? Static, and define settings dot media URL. We already defined this. Media URL we define already. Okay. What is the media URL is? What is the media URL is? Base directly slash media. Base directly slash media. That is media URL. And what is the media root is? Media. What is the media root is? Media. Now this both should be concatenated with what? URL patterns. Otherwise, the image is not displayed here. So still I'm getting something. We'll just see it. See, only the problem is you have to define the only the problem is you have to define the. So what is the name of this is list person y. So we'll just print this. What is exactly it is getting. So what is the row dot name is correct only row dot photo photo dot column name is photo dot URL. So we'll do one thing. We'll just try to find out. So row dot photo. What is photo? You are getting it. So then we'll modify this. Yeah. Yeah. Now these are images. Now image you have to remove. Row dot photo dot what is that here? URL. Now this is the image. Now I can remove this column. So column here and just refresh. Now this is the first person and second, right? So row is a model instance. What is the row is here? Model instance. What is the column name here? Photo dot URL. But before that, in settings.py and settings.py, see, because in browser, how photo is accessed with the URL. You cannot access it directly with the physical name or physical location. You cannot access with the physical locations here. How it is accessed with media slash images. Okay, this is how it is accessing it. And this is the name of the image slash media images. And this is the name of the image. This is called as a URL. This is called what here? URL. Now, can I write this here? Okay, now I'm writing directly this in the browser. Can I write directly in the browser like this? Okay. So in the browser, I just written slash media. Okay, I just press enter. Now this image is accessed or not? Yes. But how it is accessed? Using URL. But how this URL I get it? This URL I'll get it by using settings dot. How I get this URL in sorry, in urls.py, you added which one? Media URL. So media URL and then media root. What is the media root is? Media slash media URL is what? Go to your settings dot go to here settings.py, and in this you find the two variables yesterday. So base directory is comma media. So media URL is media slash what is the name of this is images media slash. How I access it? Media slash images and what is the name of the image? This is the image. So until unless you don't define the URL in the browser, you cannot access it. In the browser, you cannot access it. Okay. So browser always access any resource from the server by using what? URL only. So this is how you display the image. Now suppose this is upload. This is what here upload. But what I want is I want even to perform operation called which one? Download. This is upload, right? I want the image to be what? Downloaded. The uploaded image and we'll try to download the image. I think you understood this. Now we develop a model with how many columns here? Two columns. One is a name and one more is what? Photo. And we created one form. And in views.py, I developed two views. One is upload view and one more is a list. And in person list.html, you're trying to display name of the person and photograph of the person. And upload template, we try to upload what here? Image. But you always upload the image in multi-part form data. This is called encryption type because it will try to send the data in multiple parts. Okay, file information, data of that file, it will try to send in multiple parts, right? So that is nothing but multi-part form data. Whenever you are uploading any media file, you have to upload it in multi-part form data. This is called encryption or encoding type or encryption type. Okay. Then after that, you are creating it. Okay. Yes. In settings.py, you have to define two things. One is a media URL and one more is a media root. And always the image is accessed within the browser by using a public URL. So in urls.py, you have to add a URL by using one method called static, and you have to configure it by using one django.config. So there is a settings dot media underscore what is that? URL, right? So settings.media URL means now django.config, it look for configuration files. Now it is looking for which configuration file? Settings. And within that already you define what? Media URL. And already you define what? Media root. Okay, right? Now instead of writing plus, can you write inside? Instead of writing a plus, can you write inside? Inside I write here. Any problem? Huh? Plus is for what? Concatenation. If you write inside also, same or different? Huh? Is it same or different here? Same. Because, so here, I write here. Now static, now there is one error is there. URL pattern is invalid. Okay, so it is saying that now this is given error, right? What is the error is? It's saying that now when you're writing a plus, you're writing a plus, right? Okay, this is a static URL and you're saying it is invalid. Now you're saying whenever you're talking about URL, the URL should be prefixed with what? Slash. But in this, anything called slash and something? No. So because of that, this you are adding this as one list. Generally, you are adding this as one list is here. It is giving error. What is the error is? It is giving ensure that URL pattern is list of path. List of path or what is that? Array path. Means inside the URL pattern, you can use path or RE path, but you cannot use what? Static. You cannot use what? Static. Because of that, that is given what here? Error. So that's the reason whenever you are defining media URL, you have to do what? Concatenation, but you should not write inside the list. You should not write inside the list. After creating list, no problem. After creating list, no problem. See here, is it any error now? No. So, but you cannot directly write it. Where is error? Path. Okay, right now this is static. Now always it should be concatenated, but not directly add inside what URL patterns, because URL patterns allows only two methods. One is a path and one more is what? Repath. RE path. It is nothing but path, or one more is what here? RE path. Okay. It allows only two things. One is a path and one more is a RE path. Okay, right? Then next, let me tell you about how to download. So I want to download. So there is a, what is the name of the view is download view. See, for all, I'm writing the code for images, but you can write the code for audio file, video file, right? Any media file you can write it. But here I'm trying to write it for which one? Image. Okay. So download view and it is having a request. Now always you download it by giving what? By giving you try to download it by giving, assume that what is there here? ID. So this ID I can take this as what? Primary key. I can take this ID as what here? Primary key. So application one underscore person. If you don't write any primary key, so there will be a default primary keys created or not? Yes. What is the default primary key here? ID. Now I try to download this image by using which one? Primary key. Now request to comma. Now this will receive one primary key. I'll send this as a captured parameter. I'll send this as what? Captured parameter. I'll send this as a captured parameter. Captured parameter means you define as a part of which one? URL. You define this part of URL, but you don't send as a part of request. You're not sending as a query string. You are sending as a part of URL. Now after that, you have to get the image. What do you have to do? You have to get the image. Now I'm writing here person. Get the person details. So person equal to person dot objects dot get. So person dot objects dot get. Now what is the primary key here? ID. So where I'm writing ID, okay, person ID. Okay, where I'm saying person ID equal to which value? Primary key value. So get method, if it is exists, then it returns the model instance. If it is not exist, then what will happen? It rises error. If it is exist, it will return the model instance. If it is not exist, it rises what here? Error. Error. It rises error. Now what is the primary key is ID I've taken. But if you want, you can use person.objects.get. You can use, suppose if any column with the primary key, it will take that. But what is my primary key column is ID. But even you can use a column name as what? PK. Primary key, it will take primary key, but I try to use a column name as what here? ID. So what person is having two columns will be there. I mean, this is a model instance or not? Person is which one here? Model instance. Now, what you have to do from this, you have to take URL. Okay, because when you say download, when you click on which one? Download, then it should download from the server. The image has to be downloaded from where? Server into which system? Client system. It should download from the server system into which system? Client system, it should download it. It should download from a server system into what? Client system, it should download it. Getting or not? So for that, so person.objects.get. So this read the complete model instance, but from this, I should read only, what should I read from this? Only image. From this, I need to read only image. What I have to read? Only image. Image means photo. I need to read only which one? Photo. Because download means you don't download everything, right? Are you downloading everything or only photo? Only photo. You're not downloading anything. You're not downloading anything. You're trying to download only photo. So from that, you have to take that image is there, no? Image path, you have to take it. Suppose, okay, now here, now person is there. Person is which instance here? Model instance. It is having how many columns? Two columns. One is a name and one more is a photo. But we have to take the path. Now here I'm writing a person dot. What is the name of that field? Now you have to take the field name because person is a model instance or not? Yes. So it is having one column. What is the name of the column? Photo. And this column is having, photo is a column. What it is having? File. It is having what? File. Path. It is having what your file? Path is there. File path is there. It is having a path. Now this path is referring to which one? Or this path is referring to which path? Photo path. It means it is trying to read the path. It means where exactly? No, this is a physical, right? Now URL is used to access from browser. But at server, how it identifies with the physical location? Okay, URL is for browser. Browser access it by using URL. But server, no, server cannot identify with what? URL. Server identified with what? Path. So what is the path? The path is your base directory. Is it a base directory or not? What is a base directory? Project 33. And inside that, it is there in which folder? Media. And then what? Images. So compulsory, you have to take the path. Now this is a path from where you are downloading the image. Where you are downloading what here? Image. Now this is called as which path? This is called as which path here? File path. This is a file path. This is a file path. So what is the path here? Now in the table, there is a path is there. What is the path? What is the path is? Images. And what is the name of the image? This is the image. This is the image. Okay, this is images. And this is what here? Image. It means it's trying to download it from which location? Images. And what is the name of the image? This is the name of the image. So this is a physical path from where you should download the image. File path. I've defined the file path. And then what I'm saying is, now download will return the response. Download will return the response. But this response is which type? It should not be HTTP response, right? It should return which response? Response is which type of file? Response is which type of file? So there are different types of response can be generated. JSON response, HTTP response. What do you call it as file response? Now these are different types of outputs generated by what? View. So I cannot send file by using which response? HTTP response, because HTTP response is used to embed which content? HTML. Getting on it. But here you are sending which one? File. You're sending the file. Means you should send the file content as a part of response. You should send the file content as a part of response. Then you are using file response. Okay. Now Django dot. Now you have to import. Now this will be there. So there is a file response. Now you have different types of responses, and in that there is a response called which one? File response. Like see, file response is a Django specialized streaming HTTP response subclass, and this is PDF images. And what is that? General downloads. It automatically handles imported headers and streams the file in chunks to prevent excessive memory. It means it will try to send by dividing into parts. Chunks is nothing but what? Parts, right? So it will add automatically some headers. Now what you have to do is you have to import this. What is that? HTTP, and in that you have a, what is the name of the response? Is file response. Just import this file response, and here you are saying return. What do you return? File response. Return file response, and it followed by what is file response is followed by. So it is having something, right? Okay, what it is having? File handle. So there is a file handle, and there is a as an attachment as a true, and then file name. What is the name of the file is? Okay, now file handle is there. File handle. What is the file handle is? The path. Which one? Or which path? File handle is nothing but path. Which path? File path. Now I don't require to do all these things. You can simply define how you are trying to download it. So, but what is exactly it is doing? It is trying to open the file in which mode? Or it is trying to open the file in which mode? Read mode. It is trying to open the file in which mode? Read mode. Means it is trying to read the data from file. Now what will I do? Can I write directly here open? Open. What is the name of the file? File. What is the name of the file? File path. And I try to open this file in which mode? Read. Read mode. And then next is as an attachment. As an attachment. As attachment equal to what here? True. And then what is the name of the file? What is the name of the file? Now you have to give the name, same file name or a different file name? Same file name. You should download as the same file. You have to download as the same file or different file? Same file. Now that is defined by using which one? File name. What is the file name? Just define file name equal to file. Can I give file path or not? Yes. So that is the name of the file. See what you are trying to do, you are reading the content of this file. Which file? Whichever file you are downloading. Whichever file you are downloading, you are reading the content of that file. You are sending this as what here? Attachment. You are sending it as an attachment, and you are downloading with which file name? Or you are downloading with which file name? Same file name. You are downloading with which file name? Same file name. That is nothing but file path. File path, right? Yes. So you need to know this. So I just given file path here. So this is optional. If you don't give this, by default, it will download file with what name? Same file name. Even though if I'm not giving a file name, it will try to download the file with what name? Same file name. Okay. Then next, you have to write the template. Next, what you have to do? You have to write the template for downloading. So you have to write a template for downloading. So download template dot download template dot HTML. So in this template, what do you do it? You input which one? ID. You input which one? ID. If you want, you can directly type the URL. If you want, you can directly type what? URL, or you can input URL and you can concatenate that with what? URL and then send it to what? Form. View, right? Otherwise, what I'll do is, so you can do two things. You can concatenate directly with URL. You can concatenate directly with the URL. Getting or not? You can concatenate directly with the URL and you can send it. Okay, now you can concatenate directly with the URL and send it. Or now suppose you can do like this also. Now you send as a part of, what we'll do, we'll send as a part of. So request dot get it dot get. What you are trying to get here? ID. So this is the primary key. Yes. I'm sending a request by using which method? Get method. Now here I'm saying a form. Now I try to input. So what I'm trying to input here? Person ID. So I'm trying to input person ID. So table row. Now this is input which one here? Person ID, and input person ID here. Input type equal to text. Input type equal to text, and name equal to what here? Primary key. So name equal to what here? Primary key. So that primary key is nothing but ID. So which person ID you want to download, right? So after that, now again I take one more, and input type equal to submit. Input type equal to submit, and value equal to what here? Download. Value equal to download here, right? So this is a download template. Now you have to write a view for displaying this template. So download template view. So download template view. Then this download template view should render. Okay, render. So response equal to render request comma. What is the name of the view is download template view. Sorry, download underscore template dot HTML. So then return response. Okay. Now we have to define the URL patterns here. But you are sending the request. When you click on this, you are sending a request. Form action. You are sending a request to which view? Download view. But what is the request method is get. You're sending a request to the download view. Now just go to urls.py and define the path here. Now include what is the name of this download template view? Download view. So there is a path, and this is a download view. Yes. So comma download view. So path download template view. So comma download template view. So done this. Template download. Okay. So once this is done, now what you have to do is open the URL, right? Now what is the name of this is download template view. So download template view. Now here you have to input the person ID and then click on download. Oh, this view is not there. Download DOW. N is not working. Huh? What happened here? What is the error is? DOW. Not saved. Yeah. So here, now you're trying to input the image, person ID and click on download. Please contact administrator. So why it is saying this? Why is saying this? Now it is saying please contact which one? Administrator. In order to download, you must be what? Administrator. You must be administrator. Okay. Getting on it. So because until unless server doesn't give the permission, you cannot download it. So what will I do? I should log in as a admin. You have to log in as a admin. So for that, you create. So until unless you don't have a permissions, you cannot download. That is how it will provide what? Security. You said download. Server error is occurred. See, at the server side, you can see there is error. Okay, there is error. What it is looking for? It is looking for what? Some permission. It is looking for what here? Some permission. You send it. Okay. You send to this view. What is the name of the view is? Okay. You said request.get some primary key, and you said person.objects.get ID equal to some primary key value. What is the primary key value I've given? 1. And then define the file path, that is person.photo. What is that path? And then I read data. And you are sending this as what here? Attachment. You are sending this data as what here? Attachment. So by concatenating, but immediately it is given error here. So what is that error? There is an error at which side? Server side. Okay. Server side error. So it is able to download or not able to download? Not able to download because you open the file path dot read. So you open the file in which mode? Read mode. And then you are sending this data as an attachment. So for that you said what here? True. Right? So nothing. Actually code is the same. Okay. Code is what here? Same. Okay. Download document. So this is what is error? RB, read binary. So we'll just download now. Yeah, download it. Okay, now I'll try to give one download. Now this has been what here? Downloaded, right? Yes, because image is which file? Binary file. So just try to open this file in which mode? RB. So that is error. Okay. So because by default it will open the file in which mode? Text mode. Okay. So because of that it said contact admin. Okay. Read a binary file, right? So as an attachment, but it will try to download with the same file name or different file name. Same file name. It will try to download with the same file name. Now this is how you are working with upload and download. I think you understood this, right? So uploading images and downloading images, because nowadays any project you develop, you upload images, you try to download images. Now you're providing both how to upload it and how to download it. Then next is now this downloading. It is not only for images, anything. Suppose you are building one form where you want to upload resume. Resume is which file? PDF or document. Getting on it. So where you'll try to store that again in which folder? You create another folder. Media means images, audio, and video. Suppose you create one more folder called document folder. You create one more folder. Which folder you create? A document folder and define the media URL. Media URL. See, can you define multiple media URLs? Okay, now what you can do is you can put resources. Suppose here you said what? Media. But instead of saying media, just put resources. And in that you put media. In that you put documents. In that you put, but media URL should be only one. Getting on not. So it is not only images, it can be audio file, video files, or anything. You can upload and what is that? Download. Right? Yes. So then next we'll talk about working with. Now I'll copy this complete application. This is a complete application. I'm copying it. See, all this you have to combine. All this you have to combine in one project. When you're doing project, you have to combine all this. Okay. So sessions you have to create and you have to define the permissions, roles you have to define. And based on the roles, you have to define dashboards. Based on which one? Role and perform the operations of that user. Now you have to start developing one application. Click on not. Okay, start developing one application. So until unless you don't develop application, complete application, so you will not be knowing where you are implementing exactly, right? So define this URL. Static, we have seen for including static resources like which resources? Static resources are like CSS. Okay, CSS, JavaScript. Now that comes under which one? Static. Static files. We have seen that. Okay. Now this is the forms. So forms.py where you define the form and form validations. And we have seen form and model form. And in the views, we have seen function-based views and class-based views. Okay. We have seen function-based views and class-based views. And so that's all. Copied all the things. So view I copied use.py. And this is urls.py. Settings, forms, model. Yes, copied all template. So this is download template. And this is person list template. Okay, this is upload template. Okay, right? So upload template dot HTML. So next we'll talk about working with the. So next we'll talk about working with. So here you have an admin. So working with which one? Admin. Admin interface. Admin interface or admin. Admin interface or admin application. Working with admin interface or admin application. Now you can see all these are okay. Yes. Now by default. So by default, whenever you create a project, your project comes with some applications. Your project comes with some applications. And within that, there is an application called which one? Admin. So by using this admin application, what you can do, you can manage the models. You can manage which one? Models. So admin, what is admin? Is a default application. Is a default application. Is a default application provided by Django. Admin is a default application provided by Django. So using admin application is used for managing what you are managing here? Models. You manage the models and you manage which one? Users. Okay. Users and what is that? Groups. And you can try to manage which one? Permissions. All this you can do it by using which interface? Admin interface. But this is built-in interface. Getting or not? This is built-in interface. If you want, you can build your own. If you want, you can build your own. Okay. This is built-in. Now, when you are developing a project, you can build your own models. You can build your own admin interface where you can manage the models, users, groups, and what permission. Because Django provided less coding, you don't require to write the same thing again and again. Because of that, it is provided inbuilt. It is provided what here? Inbuilt. You don't require to create. You don't require to create interface for creating users, groups, and what is that? Permissions. That is provided by which one? Admin only. That is provided by admin. You don't require to do that. It is provided by admin, right? Yes, just here. Now, how can you manage the models? See, it is providing an interface for managing the models, users, groups, and what is that? Permissions. Models. Models means what you can do. You can insert the data, update the data, delete the data, retrieve the data, but you cannot build any business logic. You can do only inserting, updating, deleting, and reading. Means, for example, if there is a supplier is there. What supplier can do? Add the products, delete the products, view the products, and modify the products. For that, you can just give one interface. Which interface you can give? Or which interface you can give? Admin interface. By just creating user and password. By just creating user and password. Okay. So whatever data is added, that data can used by whom? Customers. Whatever data added, that is used by which one? Customers. Now first we'll see how to manage the models using which one? Admin interface. So models, how to manage models using admin interface or application. Admin interface or what? Application. How to manage models using admin interface or application. For that, so managing models includes adding what? Adding row. So updating row. Okay, updating row, deleting row, and reading or viewing, view data, or what is that? Rows. For example, assume that you are developing a project. Assume that e-commerce project you are developing it. In e-commerce, you find so many people. Just here. In e-commerce, you find so many people here. Okay, suppose now go to the terminal here and you find number of users in this application. You find number of users. Okay, now I'm creating a project Django admin and start a project, and this is some project, some 34, right? So this is project 34, and I just open the project and create an application Python manage.py, start application and application 1. Okay, now what I'm doing is, now this is my project. So what is the name of the project? Yeah, this is a project, and I'm creating one more database. I'm creating a database for this. Create database. So create a database. Now project 34 DB. So this is a database, and within the application, बोलो ये, workspace, workbench, उसमें जाना. क्यों? क्यों यार? इसमें कुछ प्रॉब्लम है? नो प्रॉब्लम. खाली क्रिएट कर रहे हैं ना. वर्कबेंच भी है यार. वर्कबेंच है. ए है ना. So here you have all creating new schema and all the things are there. So this is connecting to the database and all the things you can do. Now these are databases. Okay. Now from here also you can do it. You can execute the query. Okay, show na. Show databases. Then what do you do it? Execute. So all these are databases. Okay, what is the name of this database? Project 30. Use the database and do it. दो एक ही है GUI, this is CUI, right? But both are same. थोड़ा confusion है क्यों बोलो तो you have so many options, right? Huh? Right, no problem. But okay, what we'll do is we create a model. So here I'm creating a model. Go to the application one and create a model. For example, there is a model called class, and what is the name of the model is product. The name of the model is what? Product. Product is a model where who will add the product details. Suppose you are developing e-commerce application. Now for your application, you want to add the products, but who will add the products? Supplier. Amazon बोल के कुछ नहीं है. वो logical है. Yes or no? There's no store called Amazon. Huh? Okay, so suppliers will supply. Means they'll place it. Okay, and they'll sell it. Getting on it. It is only a platform. It is an e-commerce platform. You can develop so many platforms where you can sell the things, right? So there is a class product. Getting on it. That is the idea what they'll get it. Abhi you have a Swiggy and Zomato, right? They'll cook. No. It is a platform where these hotel people will sell their food or not. Yes. So like that, you need to think about some different platforms. Platforms. You have to think about different platforms. Understood, right? So Abhi, you have a Rapido. They don't have any bikes. They have a bike, sir? No. Car? No. What is a platform where people provide service? That's all. Now you have to think about one platform which is not exist. Not exist. Getting on it, which is not exist, which doesn't comes to your place. Getting on. Suppose you have a small town, right? You don't have that facilities like Rapido or something. Yes or no? Then how? Then you build one application. You build one application and do it. So platform can be created for any person. Getting on it. You have to think about that. Naya idea आना चाहिए. You people are very young. And I should you every 24/7 you'll be on net. And I should have a new thoughts, right? What kind of platforms I can develop. Getting on it. What platforms required in the market. So then marketing is simple because you have a social network where you have a friends and all the people. If they start using it, then it will become what? Popular. Getting on it. That is how people become popular. Popularity is not one day. Yes or no? Now you want to become a owner of company, then you have to think different. You don't want to work under one person. You want to give employment to some persons. Then what do? You start developing. You start developing your own websites, applications. That is what exactly it is. मारो वैसे करे तो अच्छा है because you are in final year. Final year, you have 1 year. Now suppose you develop a project, you can tell to external, this is my own project and I want to extend this further, right? So that is how you need to start with. Extend with AI features and all the things you can do it. But anyway, we'll talk about this admin, not today, but tomorrow we'll talk about admin. And after that, what we'll do is we'll just move into REST API, right? And then we'll start the REST API. And after that, we'll try to develop two applications. One is using Django, one is using REST API or integrate Django with REST API. One application I'll tell you, right? So we'll stop it here today and tomorrow we'll see admin, right? Thank you. We'll see tomorrow. Right?